Today, I get to speak with James Savas. He's a CEO, a COO, and a founder of Creative Solutions. He's a father, executive coach, HR specialist, and business development specialist. Today, he shares some personal stories and gives some great advice along the way. I hope you enjoy.
So I am a independent contractor
Okay.
working for these five brands in that way. That's kind of how I work. And I occasionally will take clients, usually these days I'm so busy with those five companies that if there are friends of mine or associates that want to figure out what they should do with a certain new recruit or the onboarding of that recruit, or they've never written an employee manual, they want to know how to do that, or they want to kind of a legal liaison. Uh, so I'll provide those kind of services on the side, but basically I'm busy enough with these five physical therapy brands that they keep me busy.
Okay.
So yeah, that's my current gig. But yeah, I started out. I've been doing that, by the way. I've been in the physical therapy space for almost 30, about 28 years.
Wow.
So that's kind of I like the niche that physical therapy is, because what I found over the years is it's a way to help people who are helping others kind of holistically. And if I help the helper, he can help more people, right? So I'm consulting or advising or recruiting or training the physical therapist and the private practice owners, entrepreneurs like yourself, uh, to better their business, better their circumstances, make more money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Become profitable. So that's what I've been doing for almost 30 years, is going around the country. I worked up in Montana, loved it up there, northwest corner,
Mm-hmm.
Texas, Florida, New York, New Jersey. So that's kind of, I got around, and I'm blessed with a family that doesn't mind moving. So that's good.
That's great.
Yeah. And since COVID, I have this newer gig, which I can work remotely for, which is dope because I don't have to worry about commuting into the city. I can control my staff and my consultees remotely now, which is awesome. So that's kind of the current vibe and the current flow.
Yeah, that's awesome. What
Um,
was your favorite spot that you landed at? Was it like what area?
Montana.
For
I
sure.
mean,
Yeah.
my youngest was born there,
Okay.
up in the Flathead Valley, the northwest corner. It's about an hour south of Canada and near Glacier National Park, like God's country, completely gorgeous.
Yeah.
And it was before COVID, when there was only locals up there. It wasn't very heavy with now, since COVID happened, a lot of people moved,
Mm-hmm.
I guess, in from Texas and California. But back then, it was gorgeous. I mean, to live somewhere that people have to pay thousands to vacation was awesome, and that was my backyard. And I love winter too, so that was an easy sell for me
There you go.
because you got your long hard winters up there. But I
Yes,
loved
sir.
it. So
Yes, sir. Yeah, I have
yeah,
a teacher
yeah.
that lives up there, and they're trying to get me up there to visit, and it's so beautiful.
Oh
I know
yeah,
me
yeah.
and me and my
Go ahead.
family just vacationed out there the one year, and it was gorgeous. So yeah,
Yeah. Where are they at? You know your teachers at?
I don't know the city.
Okay.
I know I think it's northwest Montana. I want to say it's
Okay.
like
That's where I was at.
somewhere
Yeah.
up there. Yeah,
So let me know if you want tips if you go that
will
way.
do. Yeah,
That's cool.
for sure. Yeah. Um, so yeah, did you go to college then?
Yeah. So I went to school, went to two schools, finished with my associates. I was kind of not sure what I wanted to do, right? Like my daughter, and like so many kids I've coached and so on. Um, So I went to school. My first school was an associate's degree in computer science, which is very different now than it was back then, as you can imagine. Computer science, a lot of math classes and computer science classes, and art and music appreciation, whatever. It was just something fun. I love music. It was really kind of cool. But what I found was interesting parallel then is the analytics and the science behind music. And I did a whole report. I remember this. My associates, one of my final exams or reports was on the math or the science behind music, behind Beethoven, Mozart,
Okay, that's
rhythm and all
so
that. So
fascinating.
very cool. That was very cool. Yeah. So I finished my degree there. I played soccer for that university. I'm a soccer guy. It's my other love. And I went closer to home, and I turned into a commute college student, and I went to a school for broadcasting because I tried to figure out what balances those things: the math, the science, the analytics in my head, and the music and the artistic in my head. I also play piano, so like,
Yeah.
how do you combine that? And I went, oh, okay, broadcasting, TV, okay. So I finished my bachelor's in broadcasting communications,
Oh, okay.
and that's what I finished my full degree in, and loved it. You know, writing, directing, producing, everything from editing the videos and the audio, doing a small radio station in college, through directing for TV. We had a TV station, and writing and so on. And then I wrapped up. The internship I had at the end of my senior year was with NBC. So I was again, I guess, blessed to see a lot of I worked for NBC, and you're on the back end of what you guys see as TV, or what you guys see. You know, now it's different, but back then it was cool to be. Before the news went on, I saw what they were going to say. I knew how they got their information to then give you on the news,
Yeah.
and I helped provide them articles to read on the news. So it was cool to be on the backside of all the fanfare and the everything that the news or the media is. So I got to see a little bit of that, and I got to edit some of the stuff that aired on camera
Mhm.
was my stuff back then. So that's my education
That's so
there.
cool. Yeah, because I was
Yeah.
just curious because I'm in my first year of college, and going to college to learn how to like run your own business is almost an oxymoron, not completely, but like I don't know how much I would gain from just going right into it, kind of just learning on the fly.
Mm,
So I'm kind of like working through whether or not I should drop out or stay in school and kind of just build something on the side. Um,
sure.
so any advice you have on that would be so grateful.
No, of course, and I'll give you my viewpoint. I'm not
Mhm.
trying to get you either blowing money in
Yeah.
school or leaving school, and
Mhm.
either way. Personally, I would have done better doing it differently. Looking back, because I have the benefit of looking at what I did do and when I was doing, and I would have been better off with those. Again, it was a state school, so it was cheaper for me back then,
Mhm.
but I would have been better off keeping that money myself and traveling or experiencing more of the maybe Europe or the world. Or I have a brother who did very well he did like a cruise a school on a boat,
Oh,
a semester over a semester at sea. So you're actually on a cruise ship in school, going, down the Cape of Africa and around, and so that was amazing. So that kind of stuff is what I should have done, because to be frank with you, I'm not working in the field that I went to school in, obviously, right? Um, and there's nothing I picked up in school per se that I didn't already have here or here.
mhm.
So it's not as if, I mean, if I was going to get into broadcasting, sure, it's a technical subject. It's value in how to cut the tape and write the thing, and of course, or construction or some manual labor. There's techniques you have to learn in a school. But my opinion, based on what I've seen, and I'm in a fully different field, was I just got experience.
Mhm.
I would go and work for. I mean, I what I did wind up doing, which I could have done for with less time in school, is I would go and find out who are the guys, the entrepreneurs that are doing cool stuff, and saying, hey, I'm living at home. I don't have to make any money, but I want to learn. So I just picked up little jobs here and there to learn about that field. For example, um, my degree became basically unnecessary. My degree was irrelevant to any of the work I did. No one gave a damn, right? So one example is I went and found, because I'm in the New York area. I grew up in New Jersey, right? Near outside of New York City. So I went and interviewed at a radio station. Like, okay, I liked broadcasting, but I like media, I like the arts, so music, the line. I didn't know what I wanted to do still when I grew up, but still I like those fields. So I went and wound up working. There was a guy from the 70s named Isaac Hayes,
Huh.
African American guy, whatever. He had a song called Shaft. There was a movie about that and so on. Anyway, really cool dude. But I worked for him. He passed away 15 something years ago. But I worked for him. He worked on a radio station in New York City, and I was in his entourage. I was one of his guys. I handled his fan club and certain things in his office. But I got that just kind of throwing my resume around, asking old friends, who do you know?
Yeah.
And that was I got more experience. I traveled with him. We had one-on-one conversations. He's a celebrity. I'm like learning how he does stuff and who he knows. And that was almost more effective for my overall growth than a year or two of school of math class and social studies and psychology, you know.
Yeah.
So from that viewpoint, I should have, could have, would have spent more time out of school doing valuable things like interning for CEOs and top companies or something like that. Um, in fact, my daughter right now is doing that. She did not, she's about your age, she's 24. She did not go to college.
Mhm.
She could have. I didn't stop her from that, but she is traveling. She was in Croatia 2 weeks ago. She's in LA now, and she's just learning, not living life and screwing around,
Mhm.
working for a touring company, working for a musician, just to kind of get an idea of human behavior, people, the randomness of business, entrepreneur's life. So
Hmm.
anyway, there's my 2 cents.
No, that's super, super helpful. That's actually super cool that your daughter's doing that. That's awesome.
Yeah, she digs it. She's doing good.
Man, that's so cool.
Thanks.
Do you have any super cool stories about like the celebrity you're following around? That seems like kind of a cool job.
Oh, I have stories, but let's see. He was a pretty conservative guy. I don't have a lot. I mean, I traveled with him. We went on tour.
Mhm.
So I was in U.S. tour, East Coast mainly, Alabama, in Chicago. It was Chicago down, Chicago, Tennessee, Alabama, Northern Florida, maybe Gainesville or something,
Okay.
Virginia maybe. So we were in these states. This is going back, Jesus, 25 something years, probably, whatever. Long time ago. But no, more than that. No, about 30 years, right? Um, but that was yeah, just again, it was just time with you're sitting next to a guy he's already probably 60 at that time, double my age or triple my age. He had already lived life and done the good and the bad. I just like to hear this, just to get hearing the stories, like what he came from and how do you find music and why does he like music? And so that was just kind of time. I mean, I loved lugging the bag of shirts around. Like he had to, I had to lug. I was the fan club manager, so I had to lug all the shirts to the concerts, and I had to be a backstage and help set up the musical instruments. So I love that stuff. But a good story I can give you was this. Here's a good story. So I through my broadcasting, this is a fun example of one thing that was less educational, more life educational from school, but it's a good story because it involves celebrities. So in 1996, I think it was the Grammy Awards, right? The Music Awards, Grammys. They were in New York in Radio City Music Hall, pretty popular venue for award shows.
Mhm.
And I, through the school and another internship, I was working. Me and my school, a couple of my friends, like three of us, four of us, worked behind the scenes for the Grammys through our broadcasting school association. And I was given the Fugees. Now the Fugees were a group. Yeah, yeah, look them up. The Lauren Hill.
Okay.
Lauren Hill's still, I think, making music. Proswell, another African American guy, doing some rapping, hip hop stuff. And then Wyclef John or Wyclef Jean, the more well known name.
Hmm.
But those three had a group called the Fugees,
The Fugees.
Fugees,
Okay.
and they were big in hip hop and R&B back 90s, maybe into the 2000s. But check them out; they're just amazing. Anyway, They were, the lead guy was Haitian, Wyclef was Haitian. And then you know who the Wailers are? You know, Bob Marley.
Mm-hmm.
Bob Marley.
Yeah.
Okay. So Bob Marley, his group was the Wailers.
Okay.
The other big Rastas that played the music behind him, right?
Right.
So this was a Grammys where these Fugees were coming. They did a song called No Woman, No Cry, which is a Bob Marley song that the Fugees remade in the 90s. So here I am, this guy. I'm in charge of about 20 celebrities with
Dang.
their own amazing background. The Fugees, three of them, all their entourage managers. Bob Marley's two of his kids, Jacob and another one, two of Bob Marley's kids, his Wailers, his band, and his wife and her friends. And I was in charge that these people for the weekend of the Grammys, it's a 2 day thing, that they were taken care of, how were they needed. I was like their support helper, assistant. And so I was in the rooms when they were doing, I won't mention it on camera, but when they were doing certain things in the rooms, I had to be there because I was helping the celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
Our job was to facilitate to the celebrities. So the cool story is that at one point, Wyclef John, again, a pretty famous guy, you can look him up, where he really wanted to get a drink, alcohol,
Mm-hmm.
before he performed. And him and his manager came to me and they're trying to get me to either bring them alcohol or take them out. I'm like, well, and they were performing that night. We were live in the Grammys. And I'm like, I don't know that I can do that, guys. I don't have access to alcohol and we can't leave. You guys are performing like an hour. It's crazy. Like, no, 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 come on, man. Your job is to help us out. We want to leave. So I basically negotiate with the freight elevator guy in the back of, I know, Madison Square Garden is where it was. I negotiate with the guy in the back. Oh, maybe it was one of those two venues. And I say, listen, hey, can I use the freight elevator and go down to the ground floor? He's like, sure, man, no problem. He didn't give a damn. So I pack a freight elevator with Bob Marley's two of his kids, men, two of his children, two or three of the Wailers, Wyclef John, who was very popular at the time, his manager, and we're all going down in the freight elevator out the back of the venue, right? Oops. Past the cops at the back is whatever, and to a bar. And we're sitting there drinking, not me, but they were drinking at a bar, loving it, just at a bar with other people, watching the Grammys on the TV.
That they're about to
And we're,
perform at. Yeah.
oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
Dang.
So 30 minutes in, I say, hey, Wyclef, we should probably go because they're announcing coming up the Fugees and the Wailers performing. And like, we should probably go.
Oh shoot. Yeah.
And I had my little VIP, worker pass. So, and this is the funniest part about this. So I'm bringing them back to the freight elevator entrance, which is in the back and kind of quiet. No one's really there because down the road is the red carpet. Like down this road, we were on this, down this road is the red carpet, limos, crowds, the cameras, the whole thing, what you see on TV,
Yeah.
cops. And Wyclif's like, no, man, I want to go that way. I'm like, Wyclef, no, 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 no. We can't go through the front door. That would be completely insane. Cops are there keeping the crowd. No, man, we gotta go. Real cool, lovely, lovely guy. I want to go see the fans. So now I'm walking down the street. You have to get the imagery of me, about 8 to 10 people behind me, various degrees of celebrity.
Yeah.
We're walking, and when the crowd sees behind me, we're about maybe 50 feet from them. Now we're rushed. Now the cops are like in my business. Limos can't move. People are coming out. Wyclef's like high five. He's loving it. They're loving it. The Fuji, they're loving it because it's the fans and it was cool. No one was nuts. Like we gotta go. So here I am. Sorry to the cops. Sorry. I bet. Sorry. Sorry. Anyway, and we go inside and then we go up the main elevator. Hi, sorry. And we perform that night. They perform. But so
Dang, that is
there's a
insane.
story for you.
That's so cool.
That's a good start.
So
Yeah,
how do
yeah,
you go
very
from
cool.
that to going to now being a CEO of
Physical
physical
therapy.
therapy?
Um, One thing I learned in that kind of stuff, and in my years with Isaac Hayes and my internships and my other jobs and helping my parents and I was a soccer coach as well. All along, I'm the oldest of four children in my family too. Is I was always a leader, right? There was always an element for me of I was the big brother of three. I'm a father of three, right? I was a soccer coach for many years at a young age. I was 18 already coaching soccer because I loved the game and I loved kids.
Yeah.
So I've always been the second dad or the coach or the caregiver or the opinion leader. That's kind of always just the vibe in life that I've had. So when I've loved teaching people things, educating others with my success or my failures, right? So when I all of the stuff I mentioned so far that was not in the physical therapy field was life experience because and then I have stories about traveling in Europe too, but it was just life. Like you learn how people react, what people like, what they don't like, emotional tones or states of people, and what's appropriate. It was really just life learning. Because when you're in a capsule, like I know where your sister at least lives. When you're in a capsule of like rural Pennsylvania or
Hmm.
Virginia or even New York City, it can be diverse, but it's still not the world. It's like your little, and if you never leave from your home much, then your viewpoint is shaped by social media and the people that you knew at home.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so the main thing I got from all of this stuff was experience and life and human contact, because ultimately, my first real job in this industry, physical therapy, was an HR role. I had an HR role. I got a call from a friend who was working there. He's like, "Hey, you want to work as my HR director?" I'm like, "I don't even know what that means. I don't know what that means." He knew I was at home. I was at home just like doing recreational stuff, coaching soccer. He's like, "You wanted a real job?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Wait, what you got?" I'm like, "Okay." So I came to interview with him and I'm like, "Oh, you mean like deal with people?" Yeah, shit, sure. I mean, I gotta hire them? Yeah, no problem. Because I'd already dealt with kids and people and bullshit and human contact, emotional stuff and whatever.
Yeah.
So I got HR was that's personnel. And what I found out over the years, and I still feel this way now, is that the number one thing owners fail miserably or can easily fail miserably at is the human element, is not knowing, not being aware enough of the people they bring into their business, the ethics and the work ethic of the people they bring in, and the emotional state of people they bring in. Number one. Number two, when they got them, how to handle. It's like an interpersonal thing that a lot of owners don't get it. They
Mm.
don't get that you got to be kind always, 1,000,000%, but you also have to. You're the boss, and there is both have to happen because it's your business. So you have the right to say, "My business, get out." But you have to do it in a certain way that doesn't offend. Right? There is a balance, and
Yeah.
I had learned that. You see, I had learned those pieces in my years of messing around or whatever. So that's what I brought to the table. And I'm like, when I got a call about an HR job, I'm like, sure, we'll try HR. And what I found is that people were like, you were easy to talk to. I'm like, I was cool, just me. But I guess I learned that somehow, right? Or I was very patient, a very kind guy. Um, just because of my upbringing and my jobs and my stuff, I told him. So
Yeah.
that got me started in HR. And then I had a supportive owner that was like, I'm like, I need to take some courses. She's like, go ahead. I'm like, great. So I intern with a lawyer. I'm like, hey, lawyer, I don't want to be paid. I want to know about lawyer things. Tell me how I write a contract. Tell me how I fire somebody. So I just got busy learning. I go, ooh, can I read a book? I read a book. Can I read a book? Good. Again, before cell phones, right? Or they were brand new maybe. But it was reading books and interning and courses and like let me soak it in. And yeah, from there, Bob's your uncle. There we go. Yeah, that's the beginning of the end, basically. So yeah.
Do you have any advice for like having those hard conversations? Like I'm sure you've had to fire people before and stuff like that.
No,
So
sure.
yeah, just how do you like go about having those hard conversations?
Um, like employees having
Yeah,
to go or whatever. Yeah.
yeah.
The first thing I would say is being able to have their viewpoint is very important. Because if you go into the thing with, I have to fire her, him, and you don't know where they're at, you don't know, will it hit them like a ton of bricks? Are they like, thank God? Are they going to draw a knife on you, which has happened before? I did have a knife in a firing interview once. Um,
Dang.
yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, there's stories. But but that's the thing is it's call it reality, call it a certain level of understanding and reality viewpoint of the person. They're coming in, and I know my staff. They're coming in. She's a single mom. She's got problems at home, whatever. Okay, yeah, this job's very important to her. She needs the money. Okay, that's what I got coming in. How would I want to talk? How would I want to receive? I'd want someone to give a shit, to care, to communicate, to say, I'm sorry, to, to understand my plight. So that's the main thing first is like getting my head straight on like, who do I got coming in here? And if it was someone that just like antagonistic and nasty and stole something, or it was like a flagrant thing, it was very matter of fact. Hey, listen, it's not working out. You're not the right fit. Goodbye.
Hmm.
Very limited. Give them very little. If it's someone that just needs to go, right, for flagrant reasons, it was very easy. I mean, it got antagonistic, and that's the knife, one of the knife ones. But with those, I knew it was coming. We have a track record. We have reports. I'm like, okay, hey, Cindy, it's not going to work out. I'm sorry, you're not the right fit. What do you mean, not the right fit? But why come? It's not working out.
Hmm.
Say nothing
Right.
in those because you don't want to be. Then you become liable and whatever, and you blame me and clean. The ones that are the ladies, guys, you have to let go. Like 9 out of 10 times the conversation goes something like, listen, I get to be the bad news bear here. You're lovely. And interpersonally, like glad I would gladly at any moment like join you for a drink or yeah, this is dependent on who I'm talking to, right?
Hmm.
But generally the vibe is I listen, you as a person, dig it. Cool. No problems here. The job wasn't a fit for you. What do you mean? How can I get better? Well, we tried to get better. I have some stuff here I can show you. This is the thing you signed it. Whatever. I need data. That's you'd have to have data first. But there's certain metrics we had to meet. We weren't meeting them. And listen, so it was just understanding. Like those conversations, I'm like down here and like I give it crap. I'm sorry. It's just not going to fly the way this is working out. Or we're downsizing. And I'm that guy. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Tears sometimes, or upset, or apathy. And I totally get it. Take your time. You got nowhere to go. You're being paid for the day. I'll sit here with you for an hour. If you want to go, but think about it. Come back. Fine. Accommodate, accommodate, accommodate. But kindness,
Hmm.
giving a damn, is really the first
Yeah.
thing. Knowing who's coming in, and then giving a damn about that. Um, and and pre-gaming always in life, always pre-gaming because and here's a philosophical viewpoint I have for my life and my kids operate off this is if you can predict the worst and best scenario both. Like I have an employee right now, not an employee, a remote worker who I love dearly as an individual, and she is young, about your younger than you maybe, and she has so this is not she's not an employee, so I can tell you this. She's in another country,
Hmm.
so she found some lumps in her chest, and she's like my right hand, and she has to go. So that conversation, of course, is a severe one, but that was very much like I get it. Take your time, accommodation, kindness, understanding. Like that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
But what I told her, she was like she was worried. When I felt like she's scared, and I said, listen, and I told her this. I said, if you can figure out in your head what is the worst case scenario, like the worst case scenario. I would die. I'm like, yeah, okay, true. But let's go one step before that. Like, how would life? what would the upheaval be in life if you got the worst news?
Mhm.
And I had her tell me, well, I guess I be in the hospital and I get chemo in the hair and cancer medication. I'm like, got it, got it. How else could it be like horrible? Well, had her kind of create in this universe the yuckiest scenario. Like you, I mean, I have no any job, I have no friends, whatever. Like, put that there for a second. Put that there. Put the ugly, the worst it can be. And step one. Step two, become comfortable with that. Like, I mean, I still have a house. I have a family that cares about me. Everyone else want to hate my guts. I got somewhere to go and sleep at night. Okay. So if it was really bad, I have support or friends or family or a mom or food or whatever. No matter how bad it is, it can only get so bad. And this is the clincher, when you become okay with that worst case scenario, fully okay. Like my daughter, when she's on a flight, it's bumpy. I'm like, okay, how bad could that go? Well, maybe we dip and okay, okay. Is that okay with you?
Mm.
Well, I guess. I mean, I'd be scared. Okay, but are you dead? Are you hurt? No. Okay. Be a little scary. Okay, so is that okay? Yeah, I guess. It can always be worse. Cool. When you become okay with that scenario. So in the interviews, when you become okay that they could draw a knife or a gun or you suck, boss, or if that's the worst it'll get, or they leave and tell you to F off, that's the worst. And you can kind of go, it never happens. 10 out of 10 times when I fully prepare for the worst way it will go, I have never yet once in my life or my kids experienced that worst scenario. It's always something lighter. When I go, okay, this is gonna be a really tough conversation. Oh my God, we're gonna, it is never that bad. Ever, ever. So that's a philosophical viewpoint I have is when because you asked about interviews and that kind of stuff. When you're going in, game plan on the person, predict, okay, this could go really sour. They're a real tough cookie. How's this gonna go? Okay, oh, it could go really bad. You know what? It'll go bad, and then I'll just say you're fired. Okay, whatever, right? So game planning, getting your head straight, looking at the worst scenario and becoming okay with the worst scenario, and then kindness over everything. Just like, I get it. This sucks. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
And if you can afford, as a boss, if you can afford to give them money, if you can afford to give them their final check, or listen, I'll give you an extra 2 weeks because you're lovely, but awesome. That's a little bonus, but that's a long answer to your question. But I
No,
wanted to give you give you that.
no, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That's so wise.
Yeah, cool. Cool.
No, I appreciate that so much.
Yeah, sure. Of
Um,
course.
and then I know you probably have to go. So this is my last question.
Sure.
As a 20-year-old guy in college, what advice would you give that you wish you heard at 20?
Um, hmm. And this is advice I got when I was 40.
Okay.
So this is the advice I wish I got. Is similar to what I said already, is go out there and figure out what you like to do. Find the individuals doing that thing and work for them. I like banking. Cool. Go find a bank where you can work in any capacity as an intern and learn about banking. I like finance and accounting. Cool. Find an accountant that you can just move papers around and figure that shit out. I like the circus. Cool. But absolutely. I have two brothers. My one brother literally did that. And this is when I learned it. I should have known it when I was 20, that he just went and worked for a few people, found out what they really did well, and went, you know what? I can do better. I can do that better. And started a business with his parents' help and a good friend's help, and started a business that did that exact same thing himself. But he wouldn't have done that if he didn't first go work for the guy and go, I see how this is. Huh. Notes, 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 understanding. Why do you do that? How do you do that? Why do you? Oh, okay. So that's it. So it is working, it is figuring out what you like to do and finding people that are the best around at that thing. And then if it's a free job, an internship, low paid, take the damn job and learn the hell out of that thing. And then decide what to do and make your move, right? But that's what I would have done more. I would have had more internships, more time with different people, more simple jobs, learning, and then brought that back and developed my own thing. So that's what I would have done.
James, thank you so much.
Like my daughter's doing.
Yeah,
Hallelujah.
absolutely.
Anyway, no, of
No,
course you're welcome, man.
thanks
My
so
pleasure.
much. This means a lot to me, and I know you didn't really get anything out of it, but I got so much from it. So I
Nah, my
really
brother, it's
appreciate it,
fine. Anytime, and you got my number, literally. So if you need to hit
listen,
me up, it's totally fine.
dude.
Hey,
Thank you
brother,
so much.
you're
Yeah.
welcome. Good luck to you.
God bless. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much.